What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Today, I just wanted to have a little bit of a look at the news, see what was going on in the space. But first, I wanted to say shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You guys are amazing. So let's take a look at what's happening today. So it's a better day than it's been, right? I mean, we're not seeing as big of moves today, but on the bright side, we're still seeing a lot of coins in the green, sitting at a market cap of $329 billion. We've seen a slight decrease in Bitcoin dominance, as you can see right here, this line right here, the others, which represents the rest of the alts, kind of moving up a little bit. Nothing too crazy. I wouldn't suggest that this would mean that Bitcoin dominance is going the other way. It just looks like some of those people that were holding Bitcoin might be redistributing a little bit of the wealth back into the alts currently as we speak. So we do know we always have these alt seasons and Bitcoin seasons. Which season are we at right now? I don't know. It looks like Bitcoin is still kind of climbing up, but hopefully that'll at least help the altcoins as far as dollar evaluation is concerned, but you might be going down on the Bitcoin evaluation. I don't know. Or we might just be doing a little bit of a teeter-totter right now. So could go either way, guys. Could go either way. But I did want to take a look at right here. Once again, we've seen Neo and Stellar battling for the seventh space, and it's a really, really close race, but it looks like Stellar has officially beaten out Neo currently for the day, and this may have something to do with the news that came out. So look at this right here. Stellar gears up to implement Lightning Network, all right? So Jed McCaleb, he says, we are super excited about Lightning. This is what he told Bitcoin Magazine, which is the site that I'm on right now. It's a great idea and necessary. It's a great idea and a necessary one if any of these protocols are going to achieve their vision. He says, we have a lot of partnerships that have been announced and that will be announced soon that will start pushing the threshold for what Stellar can do. In order to keep the network efficient and stable, we need something like Lightning. So with today's announcement, McCaleb and the rest of the team are dropping the like and keeping the Lightning, going for a full-scale implementation on Stellar's platform. They've released a tentative timeline regarding this implementation that includes a bump sequence testnet on April 1st of this year. That's going to be a beta implementation for state channels on August 1st. Okay, so if you guys know kind of like what Trinity Network is doing with their state channels, it's pretty similar. So then a live net on Stellar for these state channels and Lightning Network beta will be coming October 1st, and then a fully functional live net for the Lightning Network on December 1st. So it looks like Stellar is geared up for a very busy year moving forward. They are setting the roadmap straight. They are setting out their goals, and they're looking to do a Lightning Network implementation as one of their biggest features moving forward. They say that these channels will make use of source accounts and sequence numbers to keep tabs on payment before the finalizing transaction is sent to the network. As the name suggests, a source account represents a user's account on a state channel, and the sequence number tracks the number and sequence of payments made within the state channel. So this is like kind of like what I said, what we were seeing with the Trinity Network state channels. So it's basically, a lot of people call it like opening a bar tab, so to speak, I suppose. Maybe. That's kind of how the Lightning Network is working. So they go on to explain that scalability is one of their primary focuses over the next year. Hype tends to exceed reality in blockchain space. The visions are big, right? But the thing is that the tech can't actually realize what people want today. And I actually spoke about this in a video a little bit ago, talking about how our expectations as crypto investors, we're just so excited and we just want all of these things to happen overnight, but it takes time. That's the thing, guys. So that's the whole idea in investing in projects that you believe in, that you think are going to be able to deliver, rather than a bunch of empty promises. So hearing Jeb McCaleb come out and speak of these things so openly is really awesome. So I wanted to note, though, it does say that's not to say that integrating Lightning Network on Stellar is an easy feat. Stellar developers can't simply port over the code working on Bitcoin today. Rather, they've developed their own unique version. To that, And they enlisted developer Jeremy Rubin, who's contributed actively to Bitcoin's most popular node implementation over the years. So that is really good news coming out of the Stellar camp, and that may be why we're seeing a little bit of that increase right here, bumping NEO down to spot number 8. I love watching this little race between Cardano, Stellar, and NEO. And actually EOS is moving up as well today, guys. So that's really good news. I also wanted to note real quick, speaking of EOS, for anybody that's actually holding EOS, KuCoin came out and said that they will officially support the EOS swap. So you can add that to the list of exchanges that are going to be supporting that, making it a lot less complicated for some of these investors trying to figure out how they're going to register their tokens. And, that can be a pain to deal with all that. So it's nice to see that the exchanges are really helping that moving forward. Then we have this article. I thought this was a really great summary. This is by Jay Chen on Medium, and it's Elastos Bitmain DApp Meetup summary. So I'm not going to go into this. There's a lot to read here, but I will leave a link in the description because I know a lot of you guys are excited about Elastos. I've heard a lot of chatter from the community. So you can come down here and check out some of the stuff that they have going on with some of their teams, how they're going to utilize the Elastos carrier. You have Zepa, Reactor, Panda Green, Origin, and then there's some really awesome Q&A down here. So for anybody that wants, I think this is a great read. It's not that long, and it's a really quick to the point summary of everything that happened at the meetup. So I will leave a link in the description for that. And I also wanted to note that there was this video, and this is actually showing a very simple iOS app that is using Elastos runtime. So I'm not going to go through this video. It's 8 minutes long. You guys know I'm not a developer, so I'm not really great. I don't really understand code. But for those of you that are interested, you can see that he is, this guy obviously is working on it. And there is a shot right here where, there you go, hello iOS, hello Elastos. And then this is him basically doing a very, very simple app using Elastos runtime. So if you guys are interested, check that out. I thought that was really interesting. I wanted to talk a little bit too about Bitcoin adoption because we've heard a lot about the Google trend searches going down. People are losing interest. So there was this poll that came out, and now I don't consider this to be a completely accurate poll because their test group was extremely small. I would take this with a grain of salt, but on the small test group of subjects that they did, which I believe was a mere 2,000, but out of those, they are estimating that potentially 8% of the U.S. Could own cryptocurrency, whereas before they were estimating roughly around 1%. So the remaining 92% that did not purchase cryptocurrency, they asked them what their main reason was, and you can come down here and check this out. Now they have the percent of men and women, and then they also have the percent of millennials versus Generation X versus baby boomers. And you can see here that across the board, it didn't matter really how old you were or what your age was or if you were a male or a female. It looks like the overall reason why people aren't investing is because they don't see a need for crypto or they're just simply not interested. The second reason was that they think it's way too high risk, followed by it's too complicated to understand, followed by it's a scam, followed by it's a bubble, and then lastly, it's too difficult to use and there's too many fees. So I thought that was interesting, although I do think that it was a very small group that was basically answering these questions. But you could see that they said out of those, roughly 5.2% own Bitcoin, 1.8% Ethereum, and you can go down and check the list out yourself. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It kind of puts into perspective maybe how many people own crypto and some of the reasons why they're staying away from crypto. So I also wanted to talk about other adoption or just getting it out there, so to speak. Cheddar TV has announced that they're doing a cryptocurrency themed show. Now, I got to be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with Cheddar TV, but from what I'm hearing is that they are a web TV network. So they're having this show called Crypto Craze TV. And the show is going to cover a wide range of topics, including trading strategies and technology breakdowns. Now, this article basically goes in to say that they feel that the overall climate of the way that cryptocurrencies have been portrayed in the mainstream media has been somewhat negative recently. There hasn't been a lot of good news coming out. So they're ultimately hoping that they could shed some of the more positive light on the situation and really bring to the masses what actually goes on in the background with all of this crazy crypto sphere that we're involved in. So it says for the first time, the official show is going to talk, they mentioned talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and other digital assets. And it appears that the TV show will be focused on blockchain technology, mining, ICOs, and regulation. So they're going to be doing a whole broad spectrum covering everything. At this time, the TV shows do not have the best of track records, right? So that's what I just said about, a lot of the recent media really not being the greatest. And if you guys are interested, I came over to Cheddar.com, which is their website, and they say that Craze is going to be a 30-minute weekly cryptocurrency trading show sponsored by TradeStation, which I guess is a leading online security broker and future commission merchant. And Craze is going to air on Thursdays from 10:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, live from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. So, like I said, guys, I don't know much about this, but I'll definitely check the show out. I'm interested. I'm all for people talking about it and pushing that out to the mainstream media, and definitely getting away from a lot of that negativity and maybe focusing on some of the better parts of crypto, the blockchain technology, how it's going to actually help moving forward, how it's going to create that transparency. I think those are the things we need to focus on instead of who got scammed out of BitConnect, and is it a token, is it a utility, is it a security? I mean, I don't know. I think it's nice to just talk about some of the positive aspects of it moving forward. Also, talking about moving on into other mainstream adoption. So Kevin O'Leary, you guys probably know him from Shark Tank, right? So he is he's getting involved with this hotel, which he's not mentioning what hotel in New York City it is, but they want to use $400 million in some type of I don't know if they're going to be doing an ICO. I think they're just going to be creating a currency where they're going to be able to sell portions of this particular hotel using these tokens. So essentially, you're going to be able to own portions of this building. And I've seen this before too, where I've seen other people talk about how they're going to have land and stuff like that on the blockchain. You're going to actually own these tradable assets, which are going to represent real world things. So he said there's a big deal coming in New York in the next 3 weeks. And this 400 million coin issuance for real estate is going to be moving forward. He said instead of a stock, a share, it's a coin with a smart contract that's already been approved by the SEC. That's interesting. So he says you'll be an owner of a third of this hotel. If it works, it will be the first of its kind. So that's really interesting because he says that the hotel asset-backed ICO. Oh, so it is an ICO. Okay. He's involved and would adhere to government security rules and other prospective investors, the kind of marketing materials they would get with stock IPOs or initial public offerings. So Kevin O'Leary getting behind the old cryptos, huh? That is interesting moving forward. Now, this is something that I wanted to talk about as well because I heard about this, and I'll get to it in a minute why this kind of rang an alarm in my head. But so IBM, they have created a computer the size of a grain of salt, okay? So IBM has unveiled what it claims to be the world's smallest computer, the size of a grain of salt. The computer will cost less than 10 cents to manufacture, and it's intended for logistics applications, okay? I'm gonna get into that. So the device is one type of which IBM calls a crypto anchor, all right, or digital fingerprints that can be embedded in everyday items in order to verify their provenance and content. Another example of this concept is edible ink that can be stamped on pills. Right? So people can kind of figure out, oh, was this a placebo, right? You can actually trace the validity of your prescription medication. So the idea is that it's going to be small and cheap enough to put this absolutely everywhere. And these crypto anchor technologies are going to pave the way for new solutions that tackle food safety, authenticity of manufactured components, genetically modified products, identification of counterfeit objects, and provenance of luxury goods. Now, guys, this is my big question. What is this going to do for the likes of things like Walton, Wabi, VeChain, Origin Trail? I've been worried about this, not worried, but concerned for a while. I wondered what would happen eventually when these big companies and these big players, you know, like Google and Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, IBM, what's going to happen when they just start doing their own blockchain technology in the background? And let's say they have a bigger R&D, right? Or more, they have more developers. What is that going to do to these smaller companies? Because we saw what Walton was able to do with their little tiny RFID chip. Remember Box Mining had that video? So now that IBM is entering the space, I wonder if it's now going to be a battle between these big giants trying to take down these smaller coins, right? Like these other supply logistics companies that we're seeing, or if it'll be something where they can all coexist peacefully in harmony. I don't know. But that is a question that's been brought up a lot. And I do wonder that moving forward. You know, even for example, you have Siren Labs and their technology that they're using on the phones. But what happens if, you know, for example, Apple gets a hold of that technology and they start encrypting their phones and doing the toggle switches with the two separate sides? I mean, you just got to think about that moving forward, all right? Is there enough space for everyone, or are these big companies just going to gobble up all these little companies? I don't know, guys. I don't know. So you may have heard about this. I think this has been reported a few times, but if you haven't, Donald Trump, okay, he banned the Venezuelan government-backed cryptocurrency, which is the Petro Dollar. So he's basically banning this to all U.S. citizens from engaging in transactions using this oil-indexed digital currency. The order also authorizes U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen, I hate pronouncing names, to issue regulations to enforce the executive order. The Treasury Department further warned investors in January to avoid the Petro, calling it another attempt to pop up the Maduro regimen while further looting the resources of the Venezuelan people. So, all right, here's the question. Now, we are seeing that the US and the SEC, they're not taking strict standards on cryptos. We saw the G20 summit basically saying we're not worried about cryptos. It's not enough of a threat to the global financial situation. But now that we're seeing Donald Trump ban a crypto and saying that no U.S. citizens can get involved in crypto, a lot of people are wondering, is this just the first step? Is this kind of getting your toes in the water for that early regulation? Are they kind of pushing the boundaries, seeing what they can and can't do? Or is this just a isolated incident and it doesn't affect anything else? You know, or do they have bigger plans moving forward? I don't know. That's the theme of today. I don't know. We're just going through the news, but there is a lot that's been happening for sure. I also wanted to talk about this blockchain online learning platform that is going to connect tutors to students. That's going to be a peer-to-peer online learning platform, which is going to bring out-of-date education into the 21st century. Now, this is going to be called the New Tokens of Knowledge. The concept is already being put into test with the alpha version of the platform being used as an online English language school. So NTOK, because that's the token symbol. Executives say that they are obtaining rapid feedback from users so extra features can be developed. NTOK believes its ecosystem will take commercial study centers out of the equation and estimates that it could bring costs down by 75%. And the idea is that every student can find a tutor and every tutor can find a student. It's going to be on the Ethereum blockchain, and you're going to be able to use NTOK as payments and as rewards if you want. And then, you know, you can basically, they'll have search rankings, and they'll have, a review system where you can basically leave reviews. But they also say that the feedback system of many direct and indirect competitors are often moderated with negative reviews being removed. Like other blockchain startups, the company hopes its system will stop feedback from being manipulated, allowing students to make informed decisions to protect tutors. Their overall ratings will be based on an average for the past 30 days, preventing one bad score from disproportionately dragging down their reputation. Now, when I heard about this reminded me a lot of BitDegree. Now, isn't BitDegree kind of trying to be like a Udemy type course? So maybe they're different, because I think what they're trying to do with New Tokens of Knowledge is I think they're trying to connect just straight up students to tutors specifically. but I think that Udemy is kind of like, I don't know, it's not really going to be involved with schooling. It's just kind of whether or not you want to learn about something, right? Like things that aren't necessarily required in school, but you're interested to learn about it. So they may not be competitors at all. I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm kidding, guys. I said that as a joke. But yeah, no, it does look like they're doing a little bit of a different things. They might be able to coexist. I don't think they're going to be direct competitors. It just depends on where these two projects really take themselves as they progress. And then the final thing I wanted to talk about was the firmware update for Ledger. So there are a few security fixes. They said that it's nothing major. You don't have to worry about any of your keys, nothing, your private keys. They're fine. Nothing's really to worry about there, but they do recommend that you update it because there are a few key features that they found some loopholes with. There was a bounty program, and these three guys down here figured out there were a few issues. So just to stay up on security, guys, you definitely want to update. But I do want to say, I'll leave a link in this because if you want right here, you can just click and it'll show you how to update. But there was this one part in the update that confused the heck out of me, all right? So I'm just going to tell you right now because it took me like 10 minutes to figure out. So when you go to do the update, there's a part where it tells you to hold the button closest to the port that you plug in, all right? When you go to do that, you have to be holding the button before you put the plug in. I kept putting the plug in and then holding the button, and it kept not working, and they're not very clear on that. So when you get to that step where it says to hold the left button down, hold it first and then plug it in, okay? Maybe that'll save you the 10 minutes of hassle that I had to deal with when I was doing my upgrade. So, guys, that's the news for today. Thank you so much for coming back to my channel. My name is K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. And if you guys have not gotten subscribed, if you haven't hit that bell notification yet, if you haven't joined the Telegram group, guys, get involved. I love to read everything. I love reading comments in the descriptions, coins, and suggestions. And let me know what you guys think about the overall climate of cryptocurrency markets moving forward. Do you feel that it's positive, or do you think that there may be a storm a-brewing in the background? I mean, it's crypto, right? Anything can happen, guys. So let me know what you think about that. And until next time, guys, stay crypto and peace out.